It seemed like an act of diplomatic goodwill, a gesture of friendship. In the heart of the Cold War, a beautifully crafted wooden carving of the Great Seal of the United States was presented to the US ambassador to the Soviet Union, a gift from the Soviets themselves. Little did the ambassador know, this stunning piece of art concealed a dangerous secret. The gift was bugged. A sophisticated listening device, hidden within its core, was transmitting every word spoken in the ambassador's office directly to Soviet intelligence. This was no ordinary present. It was a Trojan horse of espionage. The discovery of the bug sent shockwaves through the US intelligence community and cast a long shadow over US-Soviet relations. The Cold War was a time of high tension and deep mistrust. The United States and the Soviet Union, two superpowers with vastly different ideologies, were locked in a global struggle for dominance. It was a war fought not on battlefields but in the shadows, a war of espionage and counter-espionage. Both sides invested heavily in their intelligence agencies, recruiting spies, developing cutting-edge surveillance technology. From the defection of high-ranking officials to the planting of moles in government agencies, no tactic was off limits. It was a stark reminder that in this era of shadows and secrets, nothing was as it seemed. The US ambassador to Moscow was a seasoned diplomat, accustomed to the delicate dance of international relations. He was no stranger to the constant scrutiny and suspicion that came with representing the United States in the heart of the Soviet Union. Yet, the gift of the Great Seal, presented with such apparent sincerity, presented him with a unique dilemma. On the surface, it was a gesture of goodwill, a sign that perhaps relations between the two superpowers were thawing. But the ambassador couldn't shake off a sense of unease. Accepting the gift meant potentially inviting a security breach into the US embassy. Refusing it would be a major diplomatic faux pas, likely interpreted as a sign of distrust and hostility. The ambassador was caught in a difficult position, forced to weigh the potential risks against the diplomatic fallout. It was a decision that could have far-reaching consequences, not just for him, but for US-Soviet relations as a whole. The weight of history, it seemed, rested on his shoulders. The bugging of the Great Seal was a testament to the ingenuity and technical prowess of Soviet intelligence. The device itself was a marvel of miniaturization, a far cry from the bulky listening devices of earlier eras. It was a passive cavity resonator, a type of microphone that requires no power source and is therefore incredibly difficult to detect. The Soviets had cleverly concealed it within the seal's wooden frame, taking advantage of the natural resonance of the wood to amplify the sound. The microphone was so sensitive that it could pick up conversations taking place several feet away, transmitting them wirelessly to a nearby listening post manned by Soviet agents. The entire operation was a masterpiece of stealth and cunning. It demonstrated the lengths to which the Soviets were willing to go to gain an intelligence advantage and highlighted the very real threat posed by their sophisticated espionage capabilities. Section 5. Operation Listening Post. The Soviets had established a clandestine listening post in a building located a short distance from the US Embassy. This nondescript building, disguised as a residential apartment, housed a team of skilled technicians and linguists who worked around the clock, monitoring and transcribing every word spoken in the ambassador's office. The information gleaned from this operation was invaluable. The Soviets gained access to confidential diplomatic cables, insights into US foreign policy deliberations, and even personal conversations that revealed the thoughts and feelings of American officials. This intelligence bonanza gave the Soviets a significant advantage in their dealings with the United States. They were able to anticipate US moves, exploit weaknesses, and craft their own strategies accordingly. The bugging of the Great Seal was a major intelligence coup for the Soviets, providing them with a direct line into the heart of American diplomacy. Section 6. The walls have ears. For years, the bugged Great Seal hung innocently in the ambassador's office, silently transmitting secrets to its Soviet listeners. The Americans, oblivious to the breach, continued their diplomatic work, unaware that their every word was being scrutinized by enemy ears. The Soviets, meanwhile, were feasting on a steady diet of high-grade intelligence, using it to their advantage in the ongoing Cold War chess match. However, the Soviets' success in keeping their operation secret would not last forever. The Americans, too, were skilled in the art of espionage, and they were about to make a discovery that would send shockwaves through the intelligence community. The Americans had their own listening posts, their own spies, and their own methods of uncovering Soviet secrets. The Cold War was a game of cat and mouse, and the tables were about to turn. The discovery of the bug was only a matter of time. Section 7. A mole in the embassy. The break in the case came from an unexpected source, a disgruntled Soviet intelligence officer, disillusioned with his work and eager to defect to the West. This individual, codenamed Rosetta Stone by the Americans, had access to a trove of classified information, including details about the bugged Great Seal operation. Risking his life, Rosetta Stone reached out to the Americans, offering to trade his knowledge for asylum. The Americans, initially skeptical, were eventually convinced of Rosetta Stone's authenticity. His information was too detailed, too accurate to be fabricated. He provided them with the location of the listening post, the technical specifications of the bug, and even the names of some of the Soviet agents involved in the operation. This intelligence was a game changer, giving the Americans the upper hand in the espionage war. Section 8. Diplomatic fallout. The discovery of the bugged Great Seal sent shockwaves through the American government. It was a major embarrassment for the United States, a public humiliation that exposed the vulnerability of its diplomatic missions. The incident sparked outrage among the American public, fueling anti-Soviet sentiment and hardening attitudes towards the Cold War adversary. The US government lodged a formal protest with the Soviets, demanding an explanation and an end to such activities. The Soviets predictably denied any involvement in the affair, dismissing the American accusations as Cold War propaganda. However, the evidence was irrefutable. The revelation of the bug damaged the already fragile relationship between the two superpowers, deepening mistrust and pushing them further apart. Section 9. The Cold War Tech Race. The bugged Great Seal incident highlighted the crucial role of technology in the Cold War. Both sides poured vast resources into developing ever more sophisticated surveillance equipment, seeking any advantage in the intelligence war. The Soviets, for example, had a long history of innovation in the field of miniaturization, as evidenced by the bug hidden in the Great Seal. They were also pioneers in the development of radio direction finding technology, which they used to pinpoint the location of American listening posts. The Americans, meanwhile, were making strides in signal intelligence, developing sophisticated methods for intercepting and decrypting Soviet communications. The Cold War was, in many ways, a technological arms race, with each side striving to outdo the other in the realm of espionage. Section 10. A Legacy of Mistrust. The legacy of the bugged Great Seal incident and countless other acts of espionage committed during the Cold War continues to resonate today. It serves as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked government surveillance, the importance of protecting privacy, and the fragility of trust between nations. The Cold War may be over, but the tactics of espionage, refined and perfected during that era, are still very much in use. Governments around the world continue to spy on each other, using increasingly sophisticated methods to gather intelligence and advance their interests. The digital age has brought about new challenges, with cyber espionage and data breaches posing significant threats to national security and individual privacy. The lessons learned from the Cold War, particularly the importance of vigilance and the need for robust oversight, remain as relevant as ever. Section 11. Echoes of a Bygone Era. The bugged Great Seal incident may be a relic of the Cold War, but it stands as a stark reminder of a time when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear annihilation. It is a story of espionage and intrigue, of technological prowess and diplomatic fallout. Most importantly, it is a story about the human cost of mistrust and the enduring legacy of a conflict that shaped the world we live in today. The echoes of that era can still be felt in the geopolitical tensions that continue to simmer, in the mistrust that lingers between nations, and in the constant struggle to find a balance between security and freedom. The bugged Great Seal, then, is not just a historical artifact. It is a symbol of the enduring challenges we face in a world grappling with the complexities of espionage, technology, and the delicate dance of international relations.